Look at the picture. Immigrant neighborhoods, such as New York's Lower East Side, were filled with people and activity. America for Americans. Oh, close the gates of our nation, lock them firm and strong, before this mob from Europe shall drag our colors down. Anti-immigrant verse, 1923. By law, children were supposed to go to school until they were 16, but many businesses posted "Boy Wanted" signs, and children went to work. Most families needed the wages of extra workers. Often only the youngest child studied full-time. Children from a dozen countries sat next to each other in class. Public schools taught them to love their new home. Children saluted the flag. They played American games like baseball. Parents had a lot to learn about their new country, too. Schools and companies offered evening classes for workers. Children usually leaped ahead of adults. "We were embarrassed if our parents couldn't speak English," said one girl. When friends came over, she hid her father's Polish newspaper. Older immigrant groups offered advice to new arrivals. They didn't want Americans to see everyone from their country as a greenhorn. Look at the picture. School children at a public library in Gary, Indiana, hold signs showing their home countries. Rich Americans also felt a duty to help the poor. They opened settlement houses to help newcomers learn American ways. Part school and part neighborhood center, a settlement house usually had a playground, a library, a gym, and a kitchen. Volunteers gave classes in how to wash, dress, and cook American style. Many immigrants didn't want to change so much. They loved home as well as here. They felt they were losing their children. They started schools to keep their languages and religions alive. In 1882, the government passed a law to keep out Chinese workers. The United States was filling up its land and its jobs. Next, inspections at the border grew tougher. Newcomers had to answer more questions. They had to pass a reading test. One boy crept under a table and whispered answers to his mother. More laws passed in the 1920s slowed immigration from a wave to a trickle. Children and grandchildren of immigrants grew up to be singers and scientists, painters and presidents. Their gifts made the United States rich. Bits of the old country crossed into the new. Soon Americans were eating Italian foods like pizza and using Yiddish words like klutz. And over time, every immigrant family became American in its own way. And that's the end of Immigrant Children.